What's good? What's good? It's the one and only, but what do I know? Boxing coming back at y'all with another one, man. So we got Rolly Romero in the news. As Rolly will not, well, I don't know. The WBA is now enforcing him to fight or to face his mandatory. I never heard of this guy, Shakram. I don't really know how to say his last name, like Gayazov. He's from the Ukraine or whatnot. So you know how they had, no disrespect to them, but they, they're it's hard to pronounce some of the names or whatnot. But anyways, I don't know anything about him. Looked him up other than the fact that he's a Olympic silver medalist, 2016 silver medalist, Olympic silver medalist or whatnot. So that's definitely a good accomplishment. It means, he definitely has his a good amateur pedigree and his fundamentals underneath him. I looked up the guys that he's fought since he's been a world champ. I mean, not a world champ, I'm sorry, but since he's turned pro. And I recognize two names. I saw Emmanuel Taylor. For those that don't know Emmanuel Taylor, that's who fought Adrian Broner and actually gave Adrian Broner a good fighting. And AB had that highlight reel knockdown of him when he threw that combination and landed that vicious uppercut. That was just a beautiful combination. Boy, AB let his hands go. It's a beautiful thing to see. And then he fought Pablo Cesar Cano or whatever. The reason why I remember, dude, is I believe that's who not Manny Pacquiao, but that's who Paulie Malignaggi beat to get the world title at 147. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Paulie beat him. I think Paulie beat him by like split decision, or he might have beaten Paulie. But I know he fought Paulie Malignaggi. I know that. But those are the two names that I recognized or whatnot. And so this is a very interesting. It's interesting news because as we all know, it's rumored that Rolly Romero was actually supposed to be in line to fight Manny Pacquiao. So I'll go ahead and get into the article and then I'll give you my opinion of what I feel like should happen. All right, so shout out to the Boxing News. It says Rolly or Rolando Romero to face Shakram Guvakabukabaka. The WBA has ordered Rolando Romero to make a mandatory defense of his welterweight title against unbeaten Uzbek contender Shakram Guvakabukabaka. I don't know how to say Gayasov, whatever. Even as Romero continues negotiation for a high-profile clash with Manny Pacquiao, the sanction body announced the ruling on Monday, citing that Romero's defense deadline had already expired. Romero must defend his title within 121 days from the date of acquisition. The WBA stated, referencing the champion rule C11, that period ended on September 1st, prompting the committee to issue a mandatory bout notice. The WBA further noted that no mandatory fight can take place within 60 days of a lapsed defense period, potentially complicating Romero's plans for a Pacquiao bout in early 2026. Romero won the belt in May with the stunning unanimous decision victory over Ryan Garcia. He actually did not win that belt in May, if I'm not mistaken. That fight wasn't for a belt, but the belt was later given to him, though. But if I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, scoring a knockdown and taking control of the fight from the early rounds. The win earned him a secondary WBA title, before he was later upgraded to the full champion following Jaron Bruce Ennis' move to junior middleweight. Since then, Romero's team has pursued the lucrative Pacquiao matchup rumored for January in Las Vegas. Gayasov, the 2016 Olympic silver medalist, became the inherited mandatory challenger after Ennis vacated the title. The 32-year-old has been waiting on his spot since earlier this year when the WBA's plan to schedule Ennis Gayasov fell through following Ennis' decision to change divisions. All right, so this is actually interesting. I want to talk about this. So, all right, well, we're in a situation here. What are they going to do? Because it looks like the WBA is going to be strict on enforcing this. It looks like you have an opportunity. Well, this is a moment where it's like legacy versus finances, right? And not to say when I say legacy, I don't mean legacy like Chakram is gonna like be some big name that Rolly needs on his resume or nothing like that. Because I've never heard of this dude up until this point. The welterweight division is just not a stacked division. It's a dead division right now. If I'm being honest with you, it's up for grabs with Brian Norman being in the lead. But I say legacy to say that does he want to keep his belt, or does he want to, vacate it and fight Manny Pacquiao? But then again, you also gotta wonder. One wonders the only reason why Manny Pacquiao is fighting Rolly is because Rolly has that belt. That's the only reason Manny Pacquiao fought Mario Barrios. Now, that's still an interesting matchup in the fact that Rolly is a 2-division champion. Let me first say this here, man. I really like Rolly. I like him as a person. If you guys haven't recently just listened to his story that he spoke upon himself and him finding God, him finding Jesus, it's a beautiful thing to hear, bro. I'm very proud of Rolly and how far he's come. So I definitely want to see nothing but success for Rolly. And I'm just gonna, just be 100 with it just like that. But it still is so like crazy to me that Rolly is a 2-division champion and possibly could be fighting Manny Pacquiao. Now, the Manny Pacquiao of, I don't want to say the old because Manny Pacquiao is old now, but it's like the prime Manny Pacquiao wouldn't even like, Rolly wouldn't even be able to be Manny Pacquiao's sparring partner. I like Rolly a lot. I'm just keeping it a buck. Rolly would not even be able to be Manny's sparring partner, bro. And another thing I like about Rolly is Rolly's very knowledgeable when it comes to boxing, bro. Rolly knows his boxing. Just listen to him speak on it, bro. Rolly knows his boxing. But anyways, but we have a Manny Pacquiao who's definitely past his prime, a shell of himself, and had a draw with Mario Barrios, who to me is like one of the worst champions that we have in today's time. And that's not me throwing no shade or no hate at Mario Barrios. He's not all that good to me, bro. Like, this dude had a draw with the Manny Pacquiao that was, is a shell of himself, past his prime, coming off of a 4-year layoff, and a loss to Ugas. Like, yeah, come on, bro. But anyways, so I said that to say Manny Pacquiao versus Rolly is a interesting matchup, bro. Rolly definitely has cracks. He's a hard hitter. You can tell even with Rolly fighting Tank, bro. You can tell Rolly is a harder hitter than Tank. Tank just has more in his arsenal to get the knockout punches and in placements or whatnot, and he has more skills than Rolly by far. But Rolly is definitely a heavy-handed fighter. So obviously, if Rolly can hurt Pacquiao if he lands, but with Pacquiao and his, I don't know, man. I don't know, because I really felt, Pacquiao didn't beat Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios versus Rolly I would actually love to see that matchup, because they're just not, I don't see them holding on to their titles long enough if they face elite competition. And that's why I wonder, like, how does this match up with this Chakram guy? I gotta look him up to see how good he is. Because just because you placed a medal in the Olympics, that doesn't mean that you are going to just be an excellent pro, or you're just going to be a world-class pro. Go ask Adley Harrison. Adley Harrison was an Olympic gold medalist in the heavyweight division, and his career didn't map out well at all. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean everything. But it's like, it does mean something. So and Rolly's skill level is just not up to par to where it makes me wonder, like, just give or take, bro. Remember when he fought, what's the dude named Jackson Martinez or Jackson Martinez or whatever the dude's name is? Nobody's heard of that dude before or after Rolly fought him, and that dude arguably beat Rolly. The old man that Rolly fought, he got knocked out in one round. Later on, was it? Dang, I think I was to the Hiroka dude, the dude that Gary Antoine is about to fight. It wasn't in one round though, but I do. Yeah, he got knocked out by the dude Gary Antoine is about to fight. But so these guys really, put a good fight up with Rolly or whatnot, and so I just don't. I'm not really as confident as Rolly's skill level to think that he can be able to, like, just fight anybody that has skills. It's kind of like Deontay Wilder. Like, obviously they have skills, right? But against somebody that can really box, I would get nervous with Deontay Wilder or whatnot. Obviously, Deontay Wilder has the deal breaker with his right hand or whatnot, but it's still like, I'd be nervous. But Deontay Wilder actually defended his title, I think, 10 times? So, Rolly has really, I don't think he's ever defended his title. He's got titles, but I don't think he's ever defended them. So we'll have to see about that. It's an interesting, any fight with Rolly is going to be an interesting matchup just because of the awkward style of Rolly. But we'll see how that goes, man. I'll keep you guys updated. I would still like to see Rolly and Pacquiao fight just because that would just be a weird fight. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Who do you see winning between Pacquiao and Rolly? What fight do you want to see? But what do I know?